Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching this video. Today, we will be discussing WFME recognition of Pakistani medical colleges. Today, again, we are honored to have Dr. Sadiq Naveed, Program Director of Eastern Connecticut Health Network with us. He's a very busy person, but we always request him because he has good knowledge and some authentic information about many of the issues which international medical graduates, especially Pakistani doctors, are facing. So without further ado, I would again welcome Dr. Naveed. Thank you, Dr. Naveed, for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So basically what happened was, and again, we will provide a brief background. So I think it was back in 2010 that ECFMG instituted medical school accreditation by a recognized accrediting agency that would serve as a future requirement for ECFMG certification. So it started in 2010. What happened was that initially notices were sent to different countries that the process will be starting soon. So, and we will be focusing more on Pakistan. So Pakistan in 2018, when the new government came, they dissolved Pakistan in Dental Council, PMDC, and they made PMC, Pakistan Medical Council. So by that time, I think that PMDC was in process in communication with WFME in terms of the recognition. Now, what does that recognition entails is that by ECFMG and WFME will implement that new criteria by 2024. So by the beginning of 2024, ideally all of those countries, all of those medical schools of those countries should be recognized by WFME. So with Pakistan, the problem was because the organization was dissolved and the new one was formed. So that government started working with them. And because the government was changed again prior to the allocated time, so there was a lag in that. So we will request Dr. Naveed to provide us with the latest updates. And then we would also discuss some common questions that all of us have been getting from the applicants who are genuinely very anxious about it, that when should we register for it? What would happen if by 2024 beginning, Pakistan is not being recognized by it? What are the latest updates? Dr. Naveed, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I will sort of elaborate on what you said, and we'll explain the process a little bit more. I think this can apply to international medical graduates from other countries too, but we can also talk about situation that is happening in Pakistan. So ECFMG, if you don't know, it stands for Education Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates. So before 2010, or even at this time, the medical schools are recognized by ECFMG and they're published under a directory. But in 2010, ECFMG decided that WFME, which is World Federation for Medical Education, they're gonna start implementing a new process, which will require a different process or different pathway for medical schools to be recognized. So what was decided was that each country have their own medical and dental regulatory body that regulates the medical education at the national level. So, and they said if that body, a regulatory body, is recognized by WFME, then whatever schools, the medical schools, that regulatory body accredited, the candidates or students coming from those schools will be eligible to follow the path of USMLE. So for example, taking an example of Pakistan, so previously all individual medical schools were recognized, but following this change, PMDC, which is Pakistan Medical and Dental Council, that needed to be recognized by WFME. And if that recognition goes through, then each medical school that is recognized by PMDC will be eligible on this path. So that's a little bit different process compared to, what was happening or still happening at this time. So it's going forward, it's the recognition of the regulatory body. So for example, India has Indian Medical Commission, if I'm naming it right. Pakistan has Pakistan Medical and Dental Council. So that regulatory body needs to be accredited and recognized by WFME. In that process, it involves different steps, which also involves inspection of local schools. So that is what's going on at this time, and that will, because of this policy change, there are certain changes that are going to happen starting next year, 2024, and we can further talk about that.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Naveed. So I will start asking questions. Now, can you please elaborate on what's the current status for Pakistani medical graduates about the accreditation from WFME?
So the current status that we are hearing is obviously, we don't have in-depth knowledge, but we have our liaison in Pakistani government at the level of UPNA. So the current status is that WFME has visited a medical school in Pakistan, and they have completed their visit, which is really great because that was one thing that was holding us back. After that visit is completed, WFME will give their decisions within 6 to 8 weeks. I'm pretty hopeful that WFME would recognize PMDC. And once that recognition goes through, then Pakistan it will be included in the list of those countries whose regulatory bodies recognized by WFME. So here, that's where we are at right now.
Okay. My understanding is that visit was done in November. So according to that timeline, we should be hopefully hearing a good news soon.
Correct. I was trying to pull the timeline, but based on my previous knowledge, I think it's 6 to 8 weeks from the date of the visit. So
okay,
pretty soon, hopefully, we'll hear good news.
Okay. A lot of candidates, applicants, medical students from Pakistan have been anxiously reaching out to UPNA, all of us, and they have been asking, though, they have a few questions. One is that what if on January 2024, it's still on an ongoing process and WFME has still not given the final verdict about PMDC and has not recognized it? What would it entail for Pakistani medical graduates?
So what would it mean is not for Pakistan or for any other country that does not have WFME accreditation or recognition, is that their graduates coming from that country will be able to complete ECFMG certification. But on the Directory of Medical School, World Directory of Medical School, under sponsored tab, it will be mentioned they are coming from a country whose regulatory body is not recognized by WFME. So that's what it's going to mean. So give you an example. So let's say I'm a candidate who is, who completed ECFMG certification in 2022. I completed my step 3, and you, Dr. Khan, are a young graduate. You graduated, sometime in March 2024, just to give an example. You did your USMLE step 1 in April or May, and then, you did CK pretty soon too. So the process is not going to differ for both of us. So when we will go into the match process, or as we will move along, it's for both of us, it's going to say that we are coming from a country whose regulatory body is not recognized by WFME. And that will appear on the sponsored tab under World Directory of Medical Schools.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if someone has completed the ECFMG certification today or in 2024 when they implement it. It would still be, the status would be that this country's medical body has not been recognized.
Correct. And, this process is still evolving. So ECFMG has not, released any updates since the last update. So we cannot say with certainty how it's going to evolve, but based on current info that we have, that's what it means. So, for example, doing, completing the process of ECFMG registration Form 186 or whatever that means, that's it's not going to protect you from anything. So because you can still take you can still apply for exams, you can still be eligible for ECFMG certification, and get the ECFMG certification, even if you would register next year and you don't register next year. I think one question that I got from a candidate was that he did not have money to register before January 2024 for ECFMG, with ECFMG. And the answer is that you don't have to register in a hurry. Whether you register right now in December 2023 or January 2024 or June 2024, your status is same. It's not gonna matter.
Absolutely, because a lot of people have been asking us, should we fill the Form 186 now, whether we are taking exam or not? And again, the urgency to get ECFMG certified prior to that. So what you are saying is that it should not make any difference. That's very important point, and we will emphasize more on that. Other questions a lot of people are asking is that let's say that the process they visited, and they may go back and forth with PMDC, give their recommendations, and the 2024 match process starts. Now, still, my question is that, number one, the applicants are still able to get certified by ECFMG, number one, and they will still be able to apply for the match. Is that true?
So they will be able to get certified, but my opinion is that they will be able to participate in the match, but I don't have anything in black and white to say. I cannot show you a documentation that they can do that. I think the best thing would be to reach out to ERAS and ECFMG and ask them this question. But my opinion is that they can still go through the match process. It's just that their profile's gonna show that their medical school is from a country whose regulatory body is not recognized, if that makes sense. And then one thing that's gonna happen is, and which is a bigger question, US has so many state licensing boards, and they may have not updated their criteria, which candidates, which physicians are able to get licenses there. So that process also needs to be teased out a little bit more. But my opinion at this time is, whether you register now, whether you did certification in the past, whether you register now or you would register 3 months from now and next year, you still can get certification. I think you can still participate in the match. But then that, the sword is hanging on your head. What is it going to mean to program directors, whether they're going to take someone from a country whose medical body is not recognized. Now, when India was not recognized, and really good thing for them, I'm really happy that their students are not anxious anymore. When India was not recognized, I had a little bit of hope, because they make a big percentage of IMGs. So that would lead a big gap in the workforce. So ECFMG may change that, but now things have changed. So that's why I think, organizations like Apna, Pakistani government of another country really have to, work on it in an efficient manner. So, it really does not affect their students' career in the future.
I think that the IMGs make a significant portion of US healthcare workforce. And I think after India, it's Pakistan and Canada that provides the most number of IMGs, even countries from other countries from Asia, Nepal and other countries. So I think that ECFMG and Wfme, they also have in themselves an urgency to recognize, because they know that people from Pakistan have been coming for decades. And in all reality, without Pakistan and India, in the Indian IMGs, the US healthcare might not work that smoothly. So I totally agree with you. So one question, I think when it all started, there was an article in the Dawn News that was confusing. And I think there was a rumor that if it does not go ahead as planned, even the doctors who are from Pakistan and who are working as an attending, they have finished residency, even they might not be able to work. So any comments on that?
That's absolutely wrong. And I think we clarified at that time too. And I reached out to ECFMG at that time as a chair of Upna Young Physicians Committee.
Mhm.
That's not true. And they said the same thing that, I talked about earlier.
Okay. All right. We will wrap this session. Any other questions or concerns that applicants have shared with you regarding WFME recognition that we have not addressed in this video?
I think that would be all. People may have more questions, so we both will be watching the comments in the video. So if people have comments or questions or concerns, please mention in the comments. So there is one place where we can answer all the concerns that people may have.
Absolutely. Thank you again. I'll briefly summarize everything. So Pakistani status is that they had a visit in November. Initial feedback was positive. Usually it takes 6 to 8 weeks after WFME finishes the on-site visit. So we are hoping that in 4 to 6 weeks, we might hear a good news. Even then, if still it's an ongoing process, you can still take your exams, you can still apply for ECFMG certification, and most likely you can still apply for the match. So don't need to panic. If you don't have money, don't need to register for the exams. It would not make any difference. I would again like to thank Dr. Naveed. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we will be waiting for the comments in the comment section for the questions, and we'll be happy to answer. Thank you.